Recorded Books and One Click Digital present The Science Delusion, Asking the Big Questions in a Culture of Easy Answers, by Curtis White, narrated by Jonathan Hogan. The author begins with a quote from Friedrich Nietzsche. It is very advisable to examine and dissect the men of science for once, since they, for their part, are quite accustomed to laying bold hands on everything in the world, even the most venerable things, and taking them to pieces. And now, The Science Delusion.
Introduction. One of the most astonishing spectacles of popular intellectual culture in the first decades of the 21st century has been the confused alarms of struggle and fight rising from the clash between the Christian evangelical and the scientist. At the very moment that the neocons made the child-minded mythologies of the Christian right the defining ideology of the Republican Party, scientific liberalism produced a series of triumphal books proclaiming the victory of science and reason over religion. The commercial success of these works, led by Richard Dawkins, The God Delusion, Christopher Hitchens, God is Not Great, Alex Rosenberg, The Atheist's Guide to Reality, Sam Harris, The Moral Landscape, and, of course, Bill Maher's lethal dose of pop sapientia, the movie Religious, is a phenomenon, as the book world likes to say. In any case, it is clear that the story these writers have to tell is one that a very powerful part of our culture wants told, and emphatically so. More recently, a separate series of extraordinarily successful books, lectures, and articles have appeared concerning the advancement of scientific knowledge about the human brain, how it works, and how it possesses those mystifying capacities that until now we have called consciousness and creativity. I will be focusing on three science writers: the science journalist Jonah Lehrer, and the neuroscientists Antonio Damasio and Sebastian Sung. These writers are, I think, typical representatives of the field, but their work is just a sliver of the total output. Between the neuroscientists and their allies among the advocates of artificial intelligence, the literature explaining the brain's wiring is vast and technically intimidating. Unlike those scientists and critics at war with religion, it is much less clear that these writers have an antagonist or are part of our culture wars, but it is obvious that neuroscientists are trying to...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?